Getting ahead of 99% of people using AI tool is actually way easier than you think. Not because AI is complicated, but because most people are using it wrong. They are stuck with ChatGPT while Google is quietly shipping insanely powerful AI tools for free that almost no one is taking advantage of. And that gap between people who use those tools properly and everyone else is getting bigger fast. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get ahead of 99% of people using free Google AI tools. Let's jump right in. The first free tool is called Opal. It lets you build AI-powered mini applications using plain English without writing any code. It takes what you type and automatically creates a visual workflow that connects inputs, AI logic, and outputs to form a working app. You can access this tool by going to opal.google, and after you sign in with your Google account, you should see a screen like this. It's great for prototyping, productivity tools, content automation, and internal workflows. Down here, you can see some basic examples you can try before building your own tool, just to play around with it. But let me show you one of the mini apps that I've already created. When you click on it, you will see this workflow right here on the canvas. Now, this might look a little complex and overwhelming at first, but you don't need to worry about that because all of this is generated for you automatically. Let's start one from scratch. I'll go back and I'm going to click on Create New. Now we've got an empty canvas, and just so you know, you can also create the workflow manually by adding these different building blocks. But let's use this text box down here because all you need to do here is to describe what you want to build and it will build everything for you. So for example, I want to build an app where the user pastes a script in English and the app translates it into Spanish and generates a downloadable voiceover. All right, I paused the video. It took around 30 seconds to generate this. And here you can see the entire workflow it created. The first step shown in green is the user input. So first it asks the user to enter the script. Then the next step is a generate step. It takes the script and translates it into Spanish. If I click on this step, you can see the prompt it's using right here on the right. I can edit everything here. I can change the title of the step and I can change the model it uses to generate this specific step. If you look at this menu, you can see how many different options you have inside the Opal workflow. You can also edit the prompt however you like. And then we have the last step, which is creating the voiceover from the translated text. You can also modify this manually. For example, if I want to add another language, I can just click on Generate up here. It will create a new box, then I can connect this dot to the new box and add a new prompt. For example, translating the script into Portuguese and connecting that to the workflow as well. Or I can just go back to the text box down here and literally ask anything in plain English, explaining what I want to change or add to this mini app that I've built. You can also share this app. If you click on Share App, up here, you can make it public and share the link with anyone so they can use this app as well. So let's do a quick test of this app. I will paste in a script in English, send it, wait a few seconds for it to load, and then I will download it like this. I will click on the file and download the Spanish voiceover. And there you go.
¿Alguna vez te has mareado cuando miras el teléfono mientras conduces? Apple en realidad tiene una función justo para eso. Ve a Ajustes.
Very nice. The next free tool I want to show you is called NotebookLM. NotebookLM is a research-first AI tool that works with your own sources. Instead of pulling information from the internet or making things up, it answers questions strictly based on the documents, videos, and files that you upload. It's designed for accuracy and very low hallucination, which makes it especially useful when you care more about being correct than being creative. This tool is best for synthesizing scattered information and turn it into clear, structured outputs. So, when should you actually use NotebookLM? You should use it when your information is spread across different formats like documents, slides, videos, or audio, and when you need reliable, structured answers fast. Let me show you. To access it, just go to notebooklm.google.com, sign in with your Google account, and once you're in, you will see your recent notebooks right here. I use one notebook to learn how to get better at YouTube content creation, so I've added a lot of YouTube videos about YouTube growth, improving audience retention, and basically anything that can help me become a better YouTuber. This way, I can chat with the AI and it will only use information from those videos. It's not pulling random stuff from the internet, it's answering strictly based on the sources I've added. In another notebook, I've uploaded some business books that I've read so I can explore ideas and have deeper conversation about how to build and improve my business. But now let's open a new notebook so you can see how to create one from scratch. Let's keep it simple. Let's say I want to plan a trip to an island called Cabo Verde, which is in Africa, and I don't really know anything about it. I want to collect all my resources inside NotebookLM and then ask questions and do my research in one place. So let's add a few YouTube videos, some websites, and other resources that can help me plan this trip. One important thing to know is that NotebookLM can handle a lot of data, even very large files and big chunks of information. It supports many different file types like PDFs, text files, documents, audio files, and images. You can upload up to 50 sources into a single notebook, which is more than enough for most research projects. The core concept here is actually pretty simple. You upload sources and NotebookLM answers only based on those sources. You're always in control of which sources are included. Right here in this menu, you can check or uncheck sources to decide what the AI should use or ignore when answering your questions. And if you want to add more sources later, you can always do that by clicking right here. Another really cool part here is the studio section. This gives you a bunch of different ways to interact with the information in your sources. For example, if I click on audio overview, I can create a mini podcast where two AI voices talk through the content. This is one of my favorite features because I can learn just by listening. I can listen while I'm going for a walk, doing things at home, or anytime I don't feel like reading.
If I asked you to imagine an island nation just off the coast of West Africa, your mind probably jumps to, these lush tropical environments.
Right, maybe dense rainforests, ancient histories.
Exactly. But today, we're doing a deep dive into a country that just completely scrambles those expectations.
We are talking about Cabo Verde, or Cape Verde, and it's a nation that repeatedly makes visitors do a double.
It really depends on the type of information you've uploaded, but you can turn your sources into different formats from here. For example, in the notebook with the business books I showed you earlier, the mind map feature works really well. If you're learning something, you can turn it into a quiz, and if you're presenting information to other people, you can turn it into a slide deck. I could honestly make a full video just about NotebookLM and go through each one of these use cases in detail. So if you want that, leave me a comment and let me know. One very important thing to remember when you're chatting with the AI here, if you want to keep an answer, make sure you click Save to Note. If you don't save it, the information won't be stored. Think of it like saving a note in a notebook. Once you've saved it, you can click the three dots on the right and take different actions, like turn it into a source, exporting it to a document, or using it in other ways. And the last thing I will show you here is that you can also share your notebook with someone else. You can work together on the same information and research. It is a very powerful tool and I definitely recommend checking it out. The next free tool I want to show you is Gemini Canvas. Gemini Canvas lets you create things like mini websites and slide decks directly inside Gemini just by using text. Instead of sending boring documents or long PDFs, you can turn ideas into clean, visual, shareable pages in minutes. You can access it by going to gemini.google.com and then selecting Canvas from the Tools menu. One of my favorite use cases is creating a video brief for a client as a mini site. So instead of sending a long Google Doc, I sent a landing page that looks great and feels much more premium. Here's how I do it. Before I open Gemini, I prepare all the content in advance. That means the deal details, what the video is about, the main goals, the structure, the script, everything I want to include in the mini site. Once I'm clear on the text, I go to Gemini, turn on Canvas mode, and paste everything in. I also add design guidelines. In my case, I just take my colors and fonts directly from my brand kit in Canva and includes them in the prompt. I hit send, and within a few minutes, Gemini builds a full landing page with all the details. What's really cool is that I can now share this as a single link with my client, and it looks amazing. The craziest part is that it also perfectly optimized for mobile, so it looks great on any device. If I want to change something, I just tell the AI in the chat exactly what I want to update, and it generates a new version of the page with those changes. One thing to keep in mind, every time you make changes, Gemini creates a new link. So, if you've already shared it with someone, you will need to send the updated link again. Alright, another cool thing you can create with Canvas mode is slides. So let's open a new chat. Make sure you've selected Canvas down here as the tool you're using, and then you can ask Gemini to create a presentation about pretty much anything you want. You can either attach a document with all the content or just write the text directly here in the chat. You can also add design guidelines. In my case, I wanted to create a presentation comparing an air fryer and a gas barbecue because it's a decision I'm trying to make for my apartment. I wanted to present my husband with the pros and cons of each option, and it felt nicer to put this into a presentation. I know it might sound a bit random, but just follow me here. So, I asked Gemini to create this deck with a cookbook style vibe, black, white, and gray, minimalist, and high end. And you can be very specific about how you want the presentation to look, just so you know. Just like with the landing page, you can include hex codes, specific fonts, or simply describe the overall vibe you're going for. Once you send it, Gemini creates the full presentation for you. You can go through the slides, see if you want to change anything, download it to your computer, or export it to Google Slides if you want to keep editing there. If I click into it, you can see that I can change everything, the text, the images, whatever I need. So it gives me a really solid base for the presentation, and from there it's way easier to just tweak a few things and be done. Now, if you want to go beyond mini tools and see how to build a real app from scratch using AI, I made a full beginner tutorial showing exactly how I built an app with Base 44 step by step. Click here and I'll see you in the next video.